Should I get like a BTTV emote, like an animated emote for the stream that people can do during the loading screen of Ibuki sweeping? All right, so it is the beginning of the trial. The trial of mysteriously Apollo versus Phoenix? Like, what's the... Also, I guess I just realized I should have said Apollo versus Phoenix instead of Apollo versus Wright. That would make more sense. Use their first names. Oh well. So after last stream was almost all just dialogue between Apollo and his father, like as they were stuck in this not all of it, not the whole stream, but a significant chunk, like a more than you normally get in a Phoenix Wright game. That they were stuck somewhere and it was just, you know, press A to continue, like we're just gonna keep talking to each other, and Apollo filling in information about his past. But we found out, I don't even remember what he remembered. But it doesn't matter as much as we found the orb, and then Paul Atishon hired Phoenix to sue us to get the orb back, basically. Yeah, I saw Marsted's playing. He's playing Trials and Tribulations right now. So, I don't know. Shouldn't be that hard. Just remember, I'm the one who's not getting any of the questions wrong, and that'll make it easy. Just so you know, I'm not going to take sides. Message received, loud and clear. Good, because I don't like this one bit. You and Daddy should be on the same team. Sorry, Trucy. Wow, she's really mad. I'm sorry too, little lady. This is all my fault. I'm just worried things will never be the same between Daddy and Apollo. After all, lawyers take lawsuits extremely personally. If they go through with this. Is that all? Well, I wouldn't worry about that. That's the way it is with us men. We may fight, but we don't burn bridges. Now, women, on the other hand, don't get me started. Really? Sure. One minute we're trading blows, and the next we're having drinks together. We're simple creatures at heart. I sure hope you're right. Sorry I'm late, Apollo. Athena, there you are. What happened with you and Mr. Wright yesterday? Oh, about that. I ended up going to the wrong airport. Good job. I was waiting there thinking his flight was really late, and before I knew it, I dozed off. By the time I woke up, it was already dark. I figured something like that had happened. Being late and dozing off are the two things you do best. Ugh, guilty as charged. So then, I take it you have no idea what today's case is about? Not a clue, sorry. What is today's case about, if I might ask? Another locked room mystery? A suspect with a flimsy alibi? Oh, or a dying message. Sorry, strike three, you're out. It's a civil case. A civil case? We didn't cover those. You act like I'm speaking Swahili here. It's just the Wright Anything Agency specializes in criminal law, or so I thought. In civil cases, there are no prosecutors, right? Instead, both parties retain an attorney. Right. And the other attorney is someone you know very well. Really? Who? The trial will begin shortly. Please proceed to the courtroom at once. Okay, let's do this. Apollo, wait. Who's the other attorney? And where is Mr. Wright? No time to explain. I could have explained it right there. Right behind you. Also, most most court procedures start with you going, quick, we need to get into the courtroom. There's no time to explain what the case is about. We just do law by the seat of our pants. Court is now in session. Is this some sort of practice session? A mock trial, perhaps? Nope, we already had one of those in the last game. No, it's not, Your Honor. It's the real deal, Your Honor. So then you two have had a falling out. Again, people take law very personally. I won't have you using my courtroom for that, you know. It's nothing like that, Your Honor. Exactly. It just so happens that we have different clients in this case. I see. Well, here's to hoping this has no adverse effect on your working relationship. You can say that again. I had no idea we'd be going up against the boss today. Ugh. You sure this is a good idea, Apollo? What? Do you want to switch sides? Honestly, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. Well, at least she is here. I'm really going to need her help. Mr. Justice. Yes? Don't expect me to pull any punches just because you're the opposing lawyer. We've been over this. No punching in court. Only whipping and strangling. As I said, the kid gloves are off. And come what may, they'll stay off. Same here, Mr. Wright. If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. It's true. Yeesh, you guys are really chomping at the bit. That is not the correct word. It's champing. But I know English is your second language, and European is your first. You guys are really chomping at the bit, aren't you? I don't mind a good fight between coworkers. Just keep this civil case civil. Now then, if the plaintiff would take the stand, we may begin. I mean, you could say chomping at the bit if you want. Noble Judge, members of the gallery, good day to you. I am Paul Atishon. This is not the time of my epic campaign, and you all have the honor of witnessing it. I believe the youth in this country are very future. Too long have they been looked down and given a whole shoulder, so to them I say, ask not what you can do for your country, ask what your country can do for me. Mr. Atishon, what is that crazy contraption you're riding in? Some people... Oof. The cut's deep. What are you, a prosecutor? Stabbing me with words? It's my custom-made election-winning campaign mobile. Beautiful, isn't it? You're at a witness stand, not a campaign podium, so come out of there this instant. Fair. All right, now, with the plaintiff's attorney, Mr. Wright. Please explain the complaint filed against the defendant. So wait, if I lose, which I won't, but if I lose, is it going to say guilty, or is it going to say ruled in favor of the plaintiff? You know, it's not as dramatic if you don't say guilty. Mr. Atishon's complaint goes against the... Mr. Atishon's complaint against the defendant is simple. The defendant, one Dirk Sadmati, stole my client's family heirloom, the crystal of Ami Faye. Mr. Atishon merely seeks its return. This wouldn't have happened if that archaeologist hadn't kicked the bucket. I see. Well, Mr. Justice, let's have your opening statement, if you would. The defense asserts that the item in question is the Founder's Orb, a sacred relic from Khurain. Go on. It seems someone asked an archaeologist, Dr. Archie Buff, to study the orb. Dr. Buff determined that it was a Khurainese national treasure known as the Founder's Orb. The very orb that was stolen from a treasure room in Khurain several weeks ago. Why, yes, I saw a news report about that. The theft of a Khurainese national treasure caused quite an uproar in the kingdom. Well, we believe that it was not, in fact, a theft in the traditional sense, but rather that it was spirited out of Khurain by someone for Dr. Buff to study. You don't say. And? Around that time, an acquaintance of the defendant learned of Dr. Buff. He made contact with the doctor, who agreed to hand over the orb. Apparently, the doctor wanted nothing to do with it once he learned that it had been stolen. It seems you even have a transfer agreement between both parties. Mr. Sadmadi also agreed to return the Founder's Orb to the Kingdom of Khurain, once the doctor verified it was the real thing. I see. So this dispute centers on whether the item in question is the Founder's Orb or the Crystal of Ami-Fe. That, in turn, will determine the object's rightful owner. I better bring my A-game. Going up against Mr. Wright won't be a walk in the park. Come to think of it, the name Dirk Sadmadi sounds awfully familiar. But I can't recall where I've heard it. Oh, you know what? Hang on, one sec. I'll be right back. And I am back. Serb says, wait, does he even have proof the Crystal of Ami-Fe belongs to him? I would assume it belongs to the Fey family. I don't remember. I don't remember what his reasoning is. Maybe it was that the crystal went missing and then he found it? And he wants to return it to them so that they will... No, wait, he has a mysterious benefactor. That's the deal. We don't know who, but somebody is agreeing to back his campaign and give him a bunch of power in return for him giving them the orb. And that person is presumably part of the Fey family, but it's going to turn out that they're the king and queen of Khurain? Maybe. Oh, well, it's probably your imagination, Your Honor. He's just a tourist, after all. My imagination, you say? Are you sure about this, Apollo? He's a wanted criminal in Khurain, isn't he? In Khurain, yes. Here, he's just a tourist. Very well. Let's begin the proceedings. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness? Who that? Oh, it's you. Emma? Show some manners. We're in court. Call me Emma-san. I know, it's just... This is a civil trial, so I was surprised to see a detective take the stand. I had her do some digging on Dr. Buff. What for? You disappoint me, Apollo. First, you know I'm not just a detective. I'm a forensic scientist. Do try to remember that. Second, you owe Mr. Wright an apology. After all he's done for you, you have some nerve being a lawyer. Being a lawyer for hire... well, no, actually, he is working for free. Being a lawyer for free? How dare you? We don't do that around here at the Wright agency. First, I'm sorry, and second, I'm really just trying to do my job. You'll never get anywhere with that attitude. Take some advice from someone who's been there. Why do I feel like I'm on trial here? Detective Sky, your testimony if you please. The doctor's dark secret. The police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time, and just today a number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study. Among them were a priceless urn and a statue that were stolen from the Fae clan. It seems the doctor would do anything to study artifacts, including steal them. As for the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Atishon residence. The doctor is a thief? Why am I just hearing about this now? Well, cat burglar isn't something he'd put on his resume. He was more careful than that. But the fact is, he was a classic treasure hunter. A treasure hunter, huh? Like people who have thrilling adventures in exotic places, risking life and limb for glory? Sithing, how you doing? I doubt Dr. Buff was the star of his own hit movie series, Athena. We got a Nathan Drake over here. What's his freaking... Did Nathan... No, wait, what's his name? The guy from Firefly. Did he ever end up playing... Was there ever an Uncharted movie? Because he was like 110%... He was like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, born to play that character. But I don't think he ever did. Out of respect for the dead, I will say that Dr. Buff wasn't doing it to get rich. Apparently, he only wanted to borrow artifacts to study them. Oh, well, that's okay then. He would then return them as soon as his research was finished. According to the doctor's child, he would even repair or restore some of the artifacts he stole before returning them. He believed he was honoring the dead by discovering their history through artifacts. But whatever lofty ideals he held, it makes no difference. He's doing a TV show called The Rookie. It's pretty good. What is his name? I know it, because I can see him right there, although I'm kind of just picturing Nathan Drake. Patrick, no. Freaking guy, him. But whatever, whoops, forgot to read it. Who reads? But whatever lofty ideals he held, it makes no difference. Larceny is larceny. Yes, he certainly sounds no different from a regular thief to me. So let's say for a moment that the doctor really did moonlight in stealing artifacts. Might he not have stolen the Founder's Orb in Kurain and brought it back here himself? Nathan Fillion. Okay, wait. So is the Uncharted guy's name also Nathan? Nathan Drake, right? Are they even both named... That's even sillier then. Wait, okay, so now... Did they make the Uncharted guy look exactly like him on purpose? Was he already an actor? Because now it's weird. And clearly, I got Patrick because I was getting him mixed up with Neil Patrick Harris. Because they were both in Dr. Horrible. Nope, there's no record of him traveling overseas in the past few years. Plus, he couldn't very well leave his reclusive child at home all alone. Then this really must be the Crystal of Ami Fae. Yes, he stole it from the Atishon residence, probably so he could study it. This is the left hook I did not need. I bet you never saw that coming, Apollo. Yeah. When Mr. Wright said the kid gloves were off, he wasn't kidding. Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination. The doctor's dark secret. The police have had their... Oh, we already read it because it's all the stuff. Hold it! How exactly did Dr. Buff arouse the suspicion of the police, anyway? Chalk it up to good old-fashioned sleuthing. After countless After investigating countless artifact thefts over the past few years, the police finally zeroed in on him, and the doctor became their prime suspect. A number of those artifact thefts occurred in Karain Village, too, if I might add. And they started right around the time the doctor moved there. But he was never arrested. I take it there was nothing concrete linking him to a crime? No, which is why we were never able to get a search warrant in the first place. It's hard to arrest artifact thieves unless you catch them red-handed. Still, the police had him under constant surveillance. However, the first thing that he stole was a cloak that makes you invisible by magic. That's why he kept getting away from us. Because we were all hypnotized to not be able to see the color blue. Man, what a weird game Leighton versus Wright was.
Hold it!
Are you sure these allegedly stolen artifacts are the real deal? They're not fakes, that's for sure. Take the urn, for example. Apparently, it's an extremely intricate work of art. Its design, cracks, and other features would be impossible to replicate perfectly. Actually, I've had a few run-ins with that urn myself, so I was shocked to see it there in the doctor's study. I can say without a doubt that urn was stolen from the Fae clan. I see. Detective Sky, please continue with your testimony if you would.
Hold it!
Were any other stolen artifacts found besides those belonging to the Faes? Yes, for instance... Remember the large relief on the wall? It was chiseled out of some ancient ruins. Oh, okay. Chiseled out as in, like, they took the wall out. I thought you meant created. It was created... It was created in some ancient ruins that are ancient, even though they were only created several years ago. No, it was chiseled out of some ancient ruins in the Kingdom of Karain several years ago. Chiseled out? Didn't that damage it? Well, he did restore the parts that were so faded you could barely see them anymore. It seems he intended to return it someday, so one could say his intentions were good. But good intentions are no get-out-of-jail-free card, that's a fact. You know, I just thought of that. That's kind of funny, that expression only exists because of Monopoly. Right? Doesn't it? Get-out-of-jail-free card. Because there is no such thing. Fun fact of the day, if you didn't know, there's no such thing as a card that you can use that gets you out of jail. If I might add, with respect for the deceased, the quality of the restoration was apparently exceptional. It seems the doctor invested a lot of money in hiring an extremely talented specialist. He sounds like a good man who took a wrong turn somewhere. I guess Sarge takes after him in that way. Any further questions? If not...
Hold it!
Had these alleged thefts been going on for some time? At least 5 years as far as we can tell. All the recent thefts had been local, but before moving to a Karain village, he had been stealing from ruins around the world. Dr. Buff was an international criminal? This data lends itself to but one conclusion. Dr. Buff was a thief.
Hold it!
You claim he stole a family heirloom from the Atishon residence, but claiming something doesn't make it true. Unfortunately, it is true. How can you be so sure? A police report was filed concerning the theft 1 year ago, in fact. What? A whole year ago? August 25th of last year, to be exact, the report states, and I quote, "The crystal of Amife was discovered to be missing from the Atishon storehouse. At 10 a.m., the storehouse lock had been picked." Signed, Paul Atishon-Wimperson? Well, a year-old report certainly lends to the plaintiff's claim credence. The doctor could really have stolen the crystal of Amife. Not only that, Your Honor, but the Founder's Orb was only found to be missing several weeks ago. That is nearly a year after the crystal's theft was reported. Therefore, I believe we must consider the orb and the crystal to be two separate items. Paul Atishon-Wimperson? Not the most awe-inspiring tail end, is it? I see why he cut it. Not that he inspires confidence without it. Still, I'd probably do the same in his shoes. So we got a new piece of evidence. A police report was filed about the crystal's theft a year ago. But the theft of the Founder's Orb was only reported a few weeks ago. So the crystal's police report was filed way before the orb was found missing. That suggests the stolen relic is the crystal of Amife, as Mr. Atishon-Wimperson asserts. I doubt the police report is a fake. After all, Emma is the one who submitted it as evidence. Still, I feel like something we learned in that police report is important somehow. Oh, so we have a bunch of evidence. It occurs to me the fact that this is a screenshot of his desktop probably means that one of these icons, probably that one, is going to be relevant someday. Although maybe not. So this tells us where he hid it, which doesn't contradict that statement. I mean, if he studied it and came to the, if he was calling it the Founder's Orb, then that would suggest that his research revealed that it was the Founder's Orb. This can't be contradicted. A number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study. I don't think that can be contradicted. priceless urn and statue that were stolen from the Fae clan. Can we say that they weren't stolen? No. Seems he would do anything to study artifacts, including stealing. Oh, it wasn't stolen from his residence. It was stolen from the warehouse. Duh. Okay. Fine.
Objection!
What? Wait, did I present the wrong... As your boss and mentor, here's a bit of advice. Never present evidence before you have a good grasp of the situation at hand. Okay. Double teamed for just doing what Mr. Wright always does anyway. Did I not, like... Is a storehouse... Is it a residence? I see storehouse and I think storehouse. Not residence. Killer Dow, hey, how you doing? Oh, you know what it might be? It might be because he returns the artifacts to the place that he stole them from. Him saying, here, I will... no, he doesn't say he's going to return it. But he does say he'll hand it over to the... Alright.
Objection!
This was not correct. That statement contradicts with this piece of evidence. And just how does it contradict with the... can I have about 5 minutes to figure out the answer to that? The defense will figure it out before he presents his evidence next time. Sounds like a plan. Yuri! Hey, Pitch. So we're on the first question of the trial, and I don't know the answer. I can't get it right. I'm going to skip through all of these real quick to see if he says something new. But I'm really kind of confused. So it lets you fast forward through. If there's nothing new, then it won't stop you, so you go, okay. Sometimes when you go through a second time, something new will happen, because you'll say, wait, you told us in one of the other conversations that wasn't true. Okay, so no, that's everything. Let's press on this again. Let's read everything here. Wait a second. I had to press on the same sentence again. This is the one that I pressed, and she gave me the police report. Now I'm pressing on it again, and it's different now. He says, this police report may say the Crystal of Ami Fae, but how do you know it's this relic right here? Because Mr. Atishon has stated as much. Well, I'm not buying it. Apollo, I was thinking. The plaintiff's legal name is pretty distinctive. Paul Atishon-Wimperson. Me? Oh. My hair is awful. It's funny because it's always hanging down, right, in my face. But I should. You can tell that I haven't Like, I'm not taking care of myself. I did at least shave, like, a week or two ago. You like to see how a confident guy gets crushed by despair? Well, that is what's happening. The plaintiff's legal name is pretty distinctive. Paul Atishon-Wimperson. Do we have any evidence related to his initials? His initials or his name? We just might. It might even point out a flaw in something Emma said. You think her logic's faulty? Yeah, if the doctor stole the relic from Mr. Atishon-Wimperson, then there's one thing the doctor did that doesn't make any sense. Especially if Paul, they keep saying his full name, if Paul Atishon-Wimperson was desperately searching for his stolen relic. There's one thing the doctor did that doesn't make any sense. Okay, time to go over the evidence again. I know, this is Oh, hold on. They're gonna... It's this. It's because it's... We're gonna say because it came from PAW711, that means that it's... That's why they called attention to the initials. Very well. This is not proof. So wait, do I present it here? Yeah.
Objection!
The doctor stole the relic from the plaintiff? Are you sure? Because that statement doesn't agree with a certain piece of evidence. What do you mean? Take a look at this. It's a USB stick that looks like a sheet of paper. What about it? This contains an email from the doctor's computer. Email? In that little piece of plastic? I'm afraid I don't understand. Well... Oh, this stick here can store all sorts of computer data. I still don't get it. Here, just look at this. Apparently, the doctor was reporting his findings to a certain individual. Now take a look at this. It's the police report Detective Skye presented to this court. You can see the plaintiff's legal name on it. Paul Atishon-Wimperson. I can see why he dropped the Wimperson from his name, but that's hardly breaking news. Look closely, Your Honor. His initials. I wonder how this worked in Japanese. Whether maybe the email address he was using was just, like a pun. Right, the plaintiff's full legal name is Paul Atishon-Wimperson. Now, consider this. The email's recipient address starts with 3 letters. P-A-W? Ah! Don't tell me. Oh, but I will anyway. The individual who hired the doctor to study the disputed item is none other than Paul Atishon-Wimperson. Wait, then that means... Exactly, he wouldn't have asked the man who stole his family heirloom to study it. Therefore, how could this possibly be the crystal of Ami Faye? It's also Phoenix's initials. We never checked the doctor's emails. We couldn't even figure out the password to his computer. The plaintiff willingly left the orb in the doctor's care so he could study it. Hey, Sabine. At the behest of his benefactor. Wait, then what about the police report? I have all the details of the theft right here. It's probably for another relic, the real crystal of Ami-Fae. He's just using the report as a way to claim that our orb is actually his stolen crystal. And how are you so certain that PAW refers to my client's initials? Maybe the email's recipient was a dog lover. or an Eevee lover. Perhaps. So let's get to know your client a little better, shall we? Mr. Paul Atishon-Wimperson. I suppose shutting down detractors is all part of a politician's job. Answer me this, Mr. Atishon-Wimperson. What is your quest? I mean, I guess it's gonna be birthday, but why? How is that relevant to anything? Puns in a Phoenix Wright stream? Come on now. Or is it going to be shoes? I'm going to lose health on it if I get it wrong. Shoe size because of the footprints that we found somewhere. No, I don't. What is your birthday? My birthday? It's July 11th, but what's it to you? Oh, I see. You can address birthday gifts to my office. But full disclosure, I only accept gifts valued at $1,000 or more. Wait, so we just guessed that the second part of his email address was going to be his birthday? Why has everyone gone silent? How can anyone be that self-centered? Oh, right. Politician. Did everyone hear that? He said July 11th. July 11th, or rather 7-11, matches the numbers in the email address. Both the name and birthday are a match. I hardly think that's a coincidence. If I had picked favorite food, would he have been like, my favorite food are hot dogs from 7-Eleven? Why? Why, you sneaky little... Looks like someone finally decided to join the conversation. Would the plaintiff care to explain? I would like to say that is quite what? Quite a thing you've said. Your Honor, I would like to declare a bad court thingy. Any other thoughts? No further comments. I stand by my previous statement.
Hold it!
My shoe size, 7 to 11. I don't really care that much. My feet fluctuate. You can't just walk away. Even politicians have to explain themselves in a court of law. Phew. Really? Are you sure? Tragically relevant. I'm afraid I simply don't know how it happened. I can't possibly explain matters outside of my purview. Perhaps it was a mistake on the part of my secretary. Oh, no, you don't, you slippery eel. Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? I won't argue your assertion. My client lent the treasure in question to the doctor and asked him to study it. It seems that much is a fact. Now we're getting somewhere. However, it has no bearing on the issue of ownership. How so? Mr. Atishon, I fully understand your position here. You had to hide the fact that you sent the crystal out to be studied. Your family would have been very upset if they had found out. It's a family heirloom, after all. You've got to be kidding me. Mr. Wright is, well, right, of course. But then he always is. That's why he's my lawyer. The crystal is a precious Atishon family heirloom and has been for centuries. But Dr. Buff was so easy to study its proud heritage that I just couldn't say no. I didn't even tell my grandfather. I didn't even tell the police, and I've had them file a false police report.
Objection!
But in order to win the backing of your so-called benefactor, you were going to give what you claim to be the Crystal of Amife to that person? You were going to give a precious family heirloom away, just like that? I was going to explain everything to Grandfather later, honest. My client's grandfather is very proud of his grandson for following in his footsteps, and if refusing him would have meant dashing the dreams of his darling grandson, I doubt the kindly old man could have said no. Well, grandchildren are meant to be spoiled. That's what grandfathers are for. Your Honor, please. I mean, it's been in the family for centuries. My grandfather thinks highly of my talents as a politician. That's why he entrusted me with this very important name placard today. Is this going to be evidence? Oh. So, I'm sure he would have been okay with me using the crystal as I saw fit. Grandpa's spoiled little brat. Oh, I'll see you later, Pitch. Thank you for coming by. I think the judge is buying it, Apollo. No surprise there. He's always going on about his own grandchild, after all. Excuse me. Can I leave now, Mr. Wright? I believe my work here is done. By all means, Detective Skye, thank you for your assistance. You're welcome. It's nice to testify at a civil trial once in a while. See you around. I wonder why they explicitly had her leave. Maybe so that she can come back dramatically a little later. It seems the facts have changed somewhat. Mr. Atishon-Wimperson apparently lent his family heirloom to Dr. Buff. Mr. Justice, how would the defense like to proceed? Oh, alright, now what? Apollo, let's hear what they know about this so-called Crystal of Amife. Maybe we can find some inconsistencies in their statements. Right. Okay then, Mr. Wright, if the item in question really is an Atishon family heirloom, then let's hear all your client knows about it. Of course. Mr. Atishon-Wimperson, please tell the defense everything you know about the crystal's origin. Where are we? We're in Japanifornia as usual. Taking place in the good old US of J. Alright. Now then, sit. Now then, listen and learn. This is the tale of the Crystal of Amife and the illustrious history of the Atishon clan. Now, I couldn't help but notice that when the little bit of it peeled off, everything except for the shun did. So I'm wondering if Abe actually has a different last name. If it's going to be like Paul Adabart or something. Are you ready? Our story begins back in the old country, where the Atishon family reigned supreme. My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler. He protected the spirit mediums, a minority back then, from the rest of the locals. Some discriminated against them, you see, while others tried to abuse their power. As thanks, Ami Faye gave the crystal she had specially made as a gift to him. I am a descendant of that great lord. As such, my political power and influence is backed by centuries of history. Well, that devolved into a great load of self-aggrandizing propaganda fast. As you can see, the crystal of Ami Faye is an heirloom of the esteemed House of Atishon. And you have proof that it has always been in the Atishon family? I have a photograph from 300 years ago. I have someone who gave a statement to that effect. My client's neighbor, one Ives Shineto? Alright, let's decipher. Age 85. Oh man, is it really that? I've seen it. Gugh. Ugh. Fine. Ives Shineto. The Atishans showed me the crystal back when I was but a lad.
Objection!
Can we really trust the memory of an old man? Mr. Justice, we've allowed parrots to take the stand. Your objection is silly. Would you care to explain that statement to the judge? Oh, I didn't mean... What I'm trying to say is, never underestimate the memory of your elders. I may forget my verdicts the next day, but the memories of my past are clear as day. Therefore, I find Mr. Ives Shineto's statement to be perfectly credible. Wow, did you see how Mr. Wright got the judge on his side? That's definitely a trick I want up my sleeve. You're not helping, Athena. You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Justice.